So we do have characters in the Marvel, pantheon. We have them there, but they don't develop in Hollywood. They don't develop those characters. So then when we come in there, we do have a beautiful lady play a green witch, and they just lose their mind. Or we have a young sister play a mermaid, and they lose their mind. It's like, okay, well, if you don't want us to play those parts, then sort of develop these. Don't let our projects, languish and development hell like they did with Blade.
Yeah, what's happening with you, man? What you want to talk about?
No, I was just saying that, you know what, I was frustrated that, I hear all these people complaining all the time about, these movies and how they coming out. And I'm thinking, the world is crazy. We got a lot of stuff going on. I'm enjoying comic book movies, but I agree with what you said. I think that for me as a black man, I'm frustrated with all our projects. Like I was saying in the chat, the Blade, the Black Panthers, and even the Ironheart, all our projects at Marvel seem to have a lot of problems, but we don't hear a lot of anger and confusion in those kind of nerd spaces online. They just more worried about a woman being more stronger than, I'm like, come on, wait a minute. I want to see some black characters, that's kind of one of the things I'm focused on. I want to see some very powerful black characters. Even with the Endgame, I was happy with Black Panther, but a lot of the black characters wasn't as strong as the Doors and everybody else. I like to see somebody just wreck shop. So I'm hoping Storm comes in and get up there and be like, okay, I can go toe to toe with Scarlet and whoever. We don't really have that right now. So that's what I'm excited about.
Well, I don't know what the problem is. It seems to me like when it comes to black characters, many people don't realize that we do have a lot of them that are very powerful, like Icon, for one. I don't know if you know about Icon. He's a DC character, and he's on the level of Superman. You feel what I'm saying? And I would like to see that get developed. I would like to also see that of Vixen. I don't know if you know about Vixen.
Wait a minute, is that like I think that's like Wonder Woman's sister, or is that
no? She's also like from Africa. She's pretty much DC's Storm, but she don't have thunder powers. You know what I'm saying? She takes on the mantles of like the animals. Like she hits her amulet, and she can be as strong as an ox, or as fast as a cheetah, or she can fly as swift as a falcon. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. I would like to see her get developed as well. And we did have another character in that of Birds of Prey, which was Black Canary, who is also very powerful. Now, don't get me wrong, in the comic books, Black Canary is white, but she has been race swapped throughout history. You know what I'm saying? But we also have a version of Black Canary that is very powerful as well. But they're not utilizing them enough. Like we got Spawn as well. When we go get another Spawn?
That's true. I like Spawn. I grew up with that movie, and yeah, it's true. I think that you're right. We do have a lot of really good, interesting characters. I think I'm just learning about this guy who they were talking about the magical characters in Marvel. I didn't even know there was a person who was strong in voodoo in Marvel. Who happened to be very up there with Scott. I said, whoa, there's a brother out here who's just as strong as these other magical players. I had no idea. I think they actually had the character
Dr. Voodoo.
Somebody with voodoo. Yeah, go ahead.
I think his name is Dr. Voodoo.
I think so, and he was going toe to toe with some of the heavy hitters, and he didn't back down. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know that there was some other. So we do have characters in the Marvel, pantheon. We have them there, but they don't develop in Hollywood. They don't develop those characters. So then when we come in there, we do have a beautiful lady play a green witch, and they just lose their mind. Or we have a young sister play a mermaid, and they lose their mind. It's like, okay, well, if you don't want us to play those parts, then sort of develop these. Don't let our projects, languish and development hell like they did with Blade. And God, that brother he was on point. I was excited about Blade with
I was too. Before Wesley Snipes even showed up, all my reporting of Blade was all Ali, because I had no idea Wesley was even in the pipeline. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, we have to work. The actors in Hollywood have to work. So when we do work, they get mad, but then they don't want to develop the projects. Like you said, all these rich characters are there. So, that's my frustration. So when I hear these guys, I watch a lot of comic book channels, And a lot of the guys, they just complaining, oh, we want the woman to wear less clothing. We don't want the race swapping. I'm like, get out of here with this. Yeah, let's just, if we have a lot of characters there, so let's just really give fairness to everybody. If we have a real bit, and that was why I was excited about with Kane. I was excited with Jonathan and his portrayal, but then he had his he had that terrible thing. I was like, damn, because I was like, he was the first one that was that level. He was that powerful. But I was very excited with Loki and all that, but then that got ruined. So it's like, damn.
Right. Marvel didn't have that to do. I mean, if you really think about it, man, the man got convicted of a minor charge. You know what I'm saying? What was it? Bodily harm or something? I don't even know. It would even worth it. It was the equivalent of someone getting caught with a blunt, I would say. You know what I'm saying? It was even enough to say, okay, man, you're fired. You have actors that has done way worse than Jonathan Majors with that one. Like I said, Robert Downey Jr. Look at the life this guy lived. You got his redemption.
I know. Yeah, I know his story very well because I used to like Robert from my family liked him from the '90s, and he had a hard time, and it was even a time, again, this is all reported, where he was so out of his mind that he found himself in a young girl's room but he didn't do anything with her. Obviously, there was nothing going on.
We don't know. We don't know. Well, as protected as those people are, we don't know.
We don't know. But the reports was that he woke up and he was in the house that wasn't his, and the woman came into the room and said, "Why is this man in my daughter's bedroom knocked out?" So that was just, he was just wow. But yeah, he's the most powerful man in Hollywood. Let's not talk about Charlie Sheen and all this. So there's a lot of people who have a lot of crazy, crazy scandals, and they get rewarded. And they get rewarded. I don't know. What Jonathan did was terrible, absolutely terrible. But I was very disappointed because I was complaining for years. Where's the most powerful character? And here he come, brilliantly played in Loki, and I was excited for the whole thing. And then they took the black man out and put in, a white person.
They made a role for Robert Downey Jr. again.
That's right.
Think about it. So right now, this man has been redeemed twice in Hollywood when it comes down to the MCU. You know what I'm saying? Big pay period. When it comes to Robert Downey Jr., he most likely is going to be the highest paid actor on that cast. Think about that for a second. Absolutely. It's just crazy.
It is crazy. I want to hold you because, again, I love your channel. I was going to say last thing too, Halle Berry, and I loved her for years. And I think her story is very interesting because, again, I've been watching that Storm. The character has gotten such a good, wonderful writing this past couple of months with her character in the comic books. And then we have we have Miss Halle Berry. She's hinting at, because I follow her, she's hinting at the audience about, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. She putting videos up. It was a really hard-hitting video on her social media a couple of months ago that said that they kind of tricked her into playing a character a couple of years ago, that she was supposed to come in to have this strong power, that she's supposed to be saving Africa, like it was a really good thing. And then they tricked her and she fell in that part that she didn't want to have a relationship with Marvel and her studios because it was all a stunt to get her wrapped into the character, and she didn't do anything in those movies. So I think that they definitely going to have to apologize to her. They're going to be very transparent. They're going to have to pay her what she's worth. And hopefully they allow that character to really be powerful, And I think it's going to be, It's tricky to see if that's going to happen, but I've been watching Miss Halle. I've been following her social media, and I've been hoping every day that she'll just, hint that she's in there because, I think that they did her wrong. I don't know. Because I was hoping she would show up in Wakanda. Storm and Wakanda. They don't do Black Panther enough. There's a lot of stuff there that they should be tapping into.
They should be doing with Black Panther, exactly, but they can't do it because they're so busy trying to kill him.